Okay, so welcome to another video here, and in this video I want to do something more in depth on the keycap profile of the Finalkey V65. So what I have here is a representation of the whole set. So I have here the R4 keycap, which is the accent keycap, and R4, R3, R2, and R1. Okay, so we have 2WXS, and I have here the spacebar. Okay, so in this video we'll be taking a look at the keycap profile and the views of the keycap, the consistency, the texture, the thickness, and interference with the paper test. Okay, so let's get that started. So let's first look at the R4 accent key. So I have here is the escape key. Okay, so the first thing I notice about this is the print is really good. So if I can show that there, so the print is really good. However, since this is dye sub PBT, the color black is actually not very black. Okay, so as you can see there, maybe in the video it is color black, but in real life this is a very dark navy blue, which seems to look like black. And actually at the underside you can see that there is a hint of blue on the sides there. Okay, so going to the next one, so here is the R4 key for number 2, and as you can see the print is a little bit hazy and the print is smaller than a normal cherry profile keycap clone, as you can see from here, my GMK DMG clones. So it's a bit smaller and the print is a bit thicker also, so the boundaries are kind of a bit hazy there. Okay, and going to the W key, so the W key, as you can see, the print is on the very far left corner of the keycap, which is and also is a bit smaller than the regular W key of other keycap clones. So let's take a look at that. There you go. As you can see, it's a bit smaller. Okay, so going to the X key, I could also say the same here as W and the S, so it just both smaller than a regular, the font is just a bit smaller, and I don't see any much imperfections here, so I would say that the keycap is very good for the dye sub PBT. So moving on to the texture, so as I have said in my previous video when I reviewed the Finalkey V65, that the texture of this keycap is very smooth. Okay, so your finger glides off the keycap, and for some people this may be not a good thing, especially for gamers, since it would be a bit difficult to maintain your grip onto the keycap. Okay, so let's move on to the thickness. So let's start measuring the height of the R4 key. So we have here is 9.3 millimeters, and 9.3 millimeters is about 0.5 millimeters shorter than the original keycap height of cherry. Okay, so on the W, let's check W. So R3 is about 7.5 millimeters, so that is around 0.3 millimeters less than the original keycap height of R3. And on the X key, let's check the X key. X key is about 8.4 millimeters, which is about 0.1 less than the original keycap height of R1. And the S key for R2 is around 6.9, 6.8 millimeters, so that is around 0.4 millimeters less than the original height of cherry. Okay, and on the spacebar here, let's check this. So the spacebar is around 9 millimeters, which is around 0.5 greater than the regular size of a cherry profile keycap. Okay, so as you can see here that the keycap profile is not exactly the same height with the original keycap height, and I am referring these measurements from the DIY keycap, and I will be showing them in the lower right corner. So let's move on to the interference test via the paper test. So this is a Boba U4T, and this is a Gateron Milky Yellows, which would represent the long pole switches and regular pole switches. So let's first go to Gateron Milky Yellows. So let's do the top. So no interference. On the sides, no interference. On the bottom, oh, there is interference here. So this keycap profile would have interference with regular pole switches. Okay, so just to make sure, let's test Boba U4T. So let's try the top. No interference here. So left side. On the bottom, this is where the Gateron Milky Yellows had interference, but as you can see here, there is no interference. And on the side, there's also no interference here. Okay, so just to show you the sound test of these keycap sets on different switches, I have here KTT Kang Whites, Gateron Milky Yellows, and Boba U4Ts. So here are the sound tests. So in conclusion, for me, these keycap sets are fairly decent considering that they are free with the Finalkey V65, and the Finalkey V65 is a south-facing board, so these keycap sets should not have any problems with the board itself. However, if you would be using this on another board that is a north-facing board, then you would be having some interference. So I have reviewed these keycap sets for you since I have heard that Finalkey will be releasing these keycap sets to be bought separately other than with the board. Okay, so I hope this video gave you some insights regarding the cherry profile keycaps of Finalkey. So see you in another video.